Hey you guys, hello and welcome. Welcome to my bedroom. This is my little plant corner here. I First of all, I wish you guys a really wonderful day. I hope you guys are doing really well. It's been a while since I've filmed a video. It's been about, I don't know, 10 days, but I'm back. So yeah, and I just really wanted to thank you guys for all the support. It means the world to me. Yeah, you guys are the best. So, anyways, I just wanted to make a very simple video on this plant here. This is Dracaena Janet Craig, Dracaena compacta, and yeah. So this here is Dracaena fragrans compacta. So it's native to the central range of tropical Africa. So it's native anywhere from about the island of Zanzibar in Tanzania all the way up through Ethiopia, Sudan, Central African Republic, all the way down to like Gabon and areas on the Atlantic coast, namely Democratic Republic of the Congo, Congo, as well as Angola. You'll find this plant growing naturally in Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Benin, Ghana, those areas. So it's a humidity loving plant, but I will say this is probably one of the easiest Dracaenas to grow. It's very forgiving. So in the wild, it likes a lot of humidity, but as a house plant, it doesn't seem to fuss a whole lot. So it grows in this rosette of this really nice dark green color. I'm gonna point it towards my grow light here. I actually got this here for $3. It was on clearance. I got this at Home Depot. It was just super cheap. And one thing I will say about this plant is it's a bit of a slow grower. Much like other Dracaenas, it produces a little bit of a stalk. This one's a little too juvenile to show you. It's a monocot, so it has parallel venation. I think you could put a good 15 centimeters of growth on this in a good year if it's really well established. Yeah, so a couple of things I want to say about it are that it likes really, really good drainage. This is definitely a plant that doesn't like to sit in a whole lot of water. Um, like other Dracaenas, it'll go a little bit yellow on you if you use regular tap water, I've noticed. Obviously, depending on the condition of your municipal water. But if your water has too much chlorine, I recommend using distilled water. If not distilled water, a little bit of cooled down previously boiled water tends to do really well. Excuse me, I'm starting to lose my voice. I don't know if you guys can hear. I had a really long day. I had a lot of school, a lot of work, but I just really wanted to sit here and talk about plants for you guys. So yeah, it has this nice glossy finish. The leaves are a little bit more matte in color when they first emerge. It does have this really incredibly fragrant, sweet scented bloom to it. Looks very similar to the corn plant or the Dracaena mesangiana. But it's pretty hard to replicate the conditions that this would naturally bloom in its native territory. So not very common to get blooms on those. If you get blooms, that means your plant is incredibly established and happy. And congratulations, I've never gotten a Dracaena to bloom yet. So, but I've seen them at my local church. This is huge one. It's about 25 feet tall, this corn plant, and it blooms almost every year, and it's just magnificent. So yeah, this here is a plant that benefits from a little bit of liquid feed fertilizer. I fertilize this once a month. I use Miracle Grow's just generic fertilizer. I use 4 drops per liter, which is a little bit less than suggested, but that's just because I don't want to build up the EC and the salts and electrical conductivity of the soil. This plant doesn't generally tend to like it. So now I have it under a 76-watt grow light over here. So it's getting kind of indirect light. I don't know if you can see, it's a little bit further. It's about 4.5 feet away from the grow light. But I think these do really, really exceptionally well in diffused light. But as long as you don't give them incredibly bright, scorching daytime light. So southern exposed windows might be a little bit too intense for them. This over here is an eastern facing window. I think that tends to be pretty well for them. But you will get, this is actually probably why I got it on clearance. You'll get a little bit of blistering and perhaps a little bit of dark spots and just desiccation of interior parts of the leaf. That's just because they've been either burnt because of the sun, or someone watered them and then put them in a bright location and then the sun burnt them there. So just for an aesthetic appeal, it doesn't really hurt the plant so much. Definitely keep the leaves on because they still photosynthesize, but it's just not the best aesthetic. There's also really nice variegated varieties of the Dracaena fragrans compacta or the Janet Craig. But I think this one over here is kind of the most forgiving. Definitely does well in low light too, but you're not going to get as consistent growth and you're not going to get as nice color. It might go a little bit pale on you, but the artificial light does tend to be a good thing to supplement for them. Now, yeah, so what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. You'll see a lot of times that when they mass produce these in the stores, they'll cut a couple of the leaves just for water storage. I don't know if you can see right over here. That's just when they ship them to big box stores. They'll tend to do that every once in a while just to preserve the water. That's perfectly fine. If you don't like the look of the leaves, wait for the plant to build up a few centimeters of height. Wait for this inner corolla of leaves, this rosette, to grow a little bit more. And then that should be fine. Then you can chop those other leaves down. But for right now, they're helping the plant. So you don't want to remove too many of them. This plant has a very fleshy root system, but it's also quite fibrous. It reminds me of like the chlorophytum or the spider plant, if you're familiar with that sort of root system. They like to be a little bit pot bound. If you want to propagate these guys, you can cut the tops of the canes. You can root the tops in water. I highly recommend putting a bit of rooting hormone because they're pretty slow to root, and expect roots in about 3 weeks to 5 weeks, so a little over a month in ideal conditions. What else should I say? Sometimes they'll produce little branches and off pups. They have a very slender, narrow form. They grow up to, in the wild, up to 20 feet. Indoors, I think 8, 9 feet is quite generous. But yeah, so that there is the little Janet Craig Dracaena compacta. Just gonna give you guys a little close up here. And I'll show you guys some more of these plants in later videos. I have so many videos that I have planned, but I just have so much school that I never have time to do it. Isn't that ironic? I'm going to school to study plants and then I can't talk about plants because I'm too busy studying plants. But yeah, so yeah, I just, my collection's growing. I'm going to talk about that cissus discolor right over there soon. Want to talk about this Maranta. This here is beautiful. This over here is the peacock plant, Calathea macoiana. And yeah, so stay tuned for many more videos. Really stay blessed, you guys. I hope you guys are all doing really well. Once again, thank you for the support. It means the whole world to me. And yeah, I hope you guys are doing really well. Thank you.